All right, so I am going to be reading The Wishing Game. This is part of a traveling group that I am in. So this actually isn't my book, but my friend Kelly's book. So we're a part of the Bookkeepers community, and we do different events throughout the year, and one of them is called the Traveling Bookkeepers. It's where we assemble groups of 3 to 4 people, and we each pick our own book that we're going to read. So the first month you read your own book, and you mark it up with pen, highlighter, tabs, whatever you want. You're going to actually write in the book and make all your own notes. And I know this seems crazy to write in a book, but trust me, it is so fun. And at the end of the month, you mail it to the next person on the list, and it cycles through the group like this until you get your original book back with everyone's notes in it. I've been doing a version of this postal group for probably 5-6 years maybe. I've been doing it for a while and I love it. So this is a group of 3 members, me, Kelly, and Chrissy, and this is Kelly's book. I'm the last one in our group to get it. So I'll show you what it looks like on the inside as we get started. So y'all pick our own pen color and write a little intro, what we know about the book. That way we all know what color pen we're using, so we can reference back to see who is writing what throughout in our reactions. So I don't know much about this book. I just read the blurb. I just know the cover is really cute, very bookish, very magical looking. So a quick look at the blurb. It seems like it's about this adult woman who is a teacher's aide, and she has some type of relationship with this little boy who either she wants to adopt or is in foster care. I'm not quite sure on the specifics yet because I'm going into this, like I said, I'm mostly blind, just read the blurb. And she gets invited to participate in some type of game competition on this island that's hosted by like her childhood favorite author. And the winner of this competition is going to get like some exclusive signed copy of his book or something, which I'm sure is going to equate to some monetary value for her as well. So it's about this teacher's aide going on this type of adventure. I think that it's contemporary, but since it does have so many little stars and elements here, maybe there's some magical realism in here. But this was a book of the month pick, so I think it's time for us to get to reading. I think I'm gonna move over closer to the bay window seat because the sun is coming in and it's really pretty outside. So I think I'm gonna move over there and get my tea and get started on this book. Okay, so time for lunch. I'm gonna make some omelets and some toasts because I'm kind of in a brunchy mood, but I have the audiobook for The Wishing Game through Spotify. So if you're a premium Spotify manager, so I started the account for our family, so I'm the manager of the account, you get 15 hours of free audiobook time on Spotify. That's something that I just started using this year because I didn't know about the audiobook feature. So anyway, so we are going to use Spotify here and pick up with where I left off in my reading, Why I Cook. Alright, so back at it. So whenever I pause and do the audiobook, since this is our markup book, I go back through and read the chapter where I left off out in the book and catch up to where I'm at in the audiobook before I continue. So I'm going to go ahead and make some notes here. I got fresh tea. I'm not sure how much I'll read today in total because I do have book club tonight. So I co-host a book club over on Instagram. We've been going on since January 2020 actually. It's called Live with Coco and Chi, and me and my co-host Chi, we are going to be discussing Crescent City House of Flame and Shadow tonight. So our book club will be probably in about 4 or 5 hours. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time reading this before I hang out with the husband and the family family before I disappear again for book club tonight. Anyway, so I'm going to go through here and read everyone's notes and add mine so I can get my bookmark back to the page I was at. Alright, I am caught up on all my notes. I am really into this already and loving seeing all of my friends' notes as we go. One of my favorite parts about doing this is it's like you are reading in the room with your friends. So it's just fun to see their reactions and how we're all processing the story already and like who we are forming attachments to and so forth. I do want to keep reading, but I am going to go back to doing audio. So I have a Diamond Art Club kit that I love to do, and I love to do it whenever I listen to audiobooks. It's just like so soothing to me. So anyways, I'm about to get that set up and continue my audiobook. Show you my kit so far. Little mermaid. It's a mermaid in a bathtub. Hey friends, so I am back for day 2 of reading The Wishing Game. I am about 40% into it so far. I would like to finish it before the end of February, so we'll see if that's possible. I'm gonna set up, I think, over here by this window because our tulip trees are blossoming outside and it's so pretty. It's a little chilly to sit out on the porch, so I think I'm just gonna sit by the window so that I have that lovely view to kind of be with me there. So yeah, set up and read some. Alright, so I'm kind of trying to figure out the good lighting. Though my husband, who usually sets all of this up beautifully for me, is not in here right now, so I'm struggling a little bit to get the best lighting. We're just gonna go with it. So I am continuing my little read-up-on of The Wishing Game. I'm having so much fun with this book. I wasn't expecting there to be romance in here, but there is a very subtle romance happening, and I am completely here for it. I have a few predictions of how things are going to end, so I'm curious to how much the author can surprise me with those, because I don't like to be right with all my predictions. I love it whenever I think I know what's gonna happen and then the author subverts that how. So that's really what I'm hoping for. I did listen to the audiobook a little bit while I was cooking, so I'm gonna go through and add my notes from the chapters that I listened to while cooking and doing the dishes, and then I'm gonna continue reading tonight. Well, tonight's reading session was so productive. I'm on page 234 and I have to go to 286, so I only have this much left. My camera is dying though, so I am going to have to sign off for tonight and we'll check back in tomorrow. I did not think I was going to be finishing this tonight, but I read some more, charged the camera, did some yoga. I'm back. I'm on the final chapter, so I will be finishing this tonight. The end. The Wishing Game. Well, now that I finished it, I can explain what it's about without spoilers. So you have Lucy, who is a teacher's aide in California, and she went to California and has been there because she's estranged from her family, who's from Maine. And anyways, Lucy is really connected to this little boy who was in her class 2 years before, so she's known him for 2 years, and his parents die and he ends up in foster care. And Lucy desperately wants to adopt him and to be his mom, but she is in a very tight financial situation. She does not live on her own. She has several roommates. She doesn't have reliable transportation. She's just unable to, with her current life, to be able to adopt him. So she's trying to do everything she can. Well, her favorite children's author, who had written over 50 books that were her favorite children book series as a kid, these Clock Island series, is her favorite author, and he has not written a book in many years, and no one really knows why he stopped writing books. But suddenly he does a contest, and Lucy gets invited to the contest, and whoever wins this contest is going to win the only available copy of his next book for the series, which would be worth tons and tons of money if she was able to sell it. And so Lucy gets to go to this island and compete to see if she can win a copy of this book and hopefully have her dreams come true. So that is kind of the gist of the story. So it's very cozy. It's a very cozy, and it has some heavier topics in there related to like Lucy's backstory and some of the other characters' backstories. So it definitely will tug on your heartstrings. I would say this is contemporary or just literary fiction. Very, very cute, very wholesome, adorable. I think it's neat too because at the back it lists all of the books in the Clock Island adventures, which you hear them referenced in some of the books. So that's really funny. I always read the acknowledgements because I'm always curious about it. There's a lot of comparisons to Willy Wonka, and you can see the inspiration in that. So I think that's a very fun comp title. So if you liked Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, this has very similar vibes to it, but completely different. You have an island instead of a chocolate factory. So I adopted both of my sons through the foster care system. So I was a little nitpicky at the first part of this book because some of the things she was saying didn't quite make sense to me of why like she couldn't be the little boy's foster mom. And it gets more explained later. And for the most part, everything that was in here felt accurate once it kind of got explained with just very minor nitpicky comments. But as I'm reading the acknowledgement, she even talks about that and says, you know, she apologizes for any errors or omission in the depiction of legalities and realities of fostering. And I just think, you know, and her just even sharing about that, I think is really special. Okay, time to read what my friends' final thoughts were. They loved it. So Kelly gave it 4, maybe 4.5 stars, and Chrissy gave it 5 stars. I think it's probably going to be a 4.5 for me. I don't feel like anything was super shocking to me at the end, but I'm very happy with the story overall and had a fun time reading it. I really enjoyed the banter, the riddles that were all in there, and super intrigued with all the little nuggets about the children book series. It kind of makes you wish that the children book series mentioned in here was a real series because it sounded so cute. So it's kind of like books that were nuzzled inside other books by reading this. So yeah, I adored it. I think that this is a fantastic book. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with me.